Hey, friends. So excited that you're back for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If you are new here, welcome. So glad that you're here. Today's episode is going to be a little eye-opening for you. Well, I say that it is. It was eye-opening for me as I was recording the episode. It was absolutely fantastic content. And I think it's something that we don't talk about very often, and that is time management and time organization. And man, I'm just in awe of the way that God has put people in my path to come on this podcast and to share the wisdom that He has dropped into their hearts and the giftings that He has made them for. Literally, these women are having such an impact in the world because they said yes to using their gifts and abilities. And this guest is no different. After having 5 kids in 10 years, yes, ladies, you heard that right. Alyssa went looking for the next challenge and found online business. I love that so much. Wanting to simplify life for moms everywhere, she's now an online business productivity coach. You heard that right. Online business productivity coach for other work from home moms who want to achieve 6-figure incomes in part time hours. She helps them get enough hours to work on their businesses, prioritize their time, establish, here we go, a no guilt work life balance, and set up the family routines that hold it all together. So, you guys get ready for an amazing episode with my guest, Alyssa Wolff. Truth time. When's the last time you raised your hands for a swift kick in the pants? Well, I'm the no nonsense type friend who's going to tell you when you have food in your teeth. So let's get right to it. This is your infusion of sacred and secular, calling you higher into who God created you to be, exploring how intimately faith applies to every part of your life and how you can live that faith every single day in the marketplace. I felt the tension of separation of church and state. I've been one of the few women at a table of men for decades, and I've stood my ground. Are you ready to do the same? These tools, resources, and interviews are meant to do just that. I'm Jan Touchberry, and it's time to share Her Faith at Work. Hey, friends, welcome back to the podcast. I have another person that I'm super excited to introduce you to today. She has a gift that so many people, I'll just say it seems to elude so many people. It's hard. It's hard for me because I'm the type of person who always wants to be busy and cramming things into every single nook and cranny, which leaves very little time for margin. And Alyssa has a gift that she shares with others, and she has actually built a business on it. So help me welcome to the podcast, Alyssa Wolff. Alyssa, tell me about you and tell us about your business.
Well, thank you, Jan. Well, I'm a stay-at-home homeschooling mom with 5 kids, and in the other half, I'm an online coach. So time management and work-life balance are very important to me, and I've set up my day so that I'm not shorting either side.
Okay, that right there is a statement to say that you have 5 kids and you work in your own business, running your own business, but you're able to organize your day in such a way that you really feel like you're giving time and attention to both things that you feel very called to. So the $1 million question is, how the heck does that work?
And the $1 million answer is the very boring one of time buckets. I set certain hours in the day for the business, certain hours of the day are for the kid homeschooling, cooking, mom cleanup, errands, chores. Never the twain shall meet, and great, I'm happy.
That's amazing. Okay, so time buckets. I think another way that people may have heard of it is time blocking. Would you say they're the same thing?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So tell me what that looks like for you. I think as a coach, correct me if I'm wrong, but as a coach, you can your schedule may be a little bit more flexible than somebody who runs a different type of business. Would you say that's true?
Yes, I can certainly imagine certain in-person types that being
Mhm.
harder, but I can set my hours. However, for the sake of my sanity, my kids' expectations, I prefer to keep a very regular schedule.
Yeah, that's really important, I think, especially when you're homeschooling. How old are your kids? Like, what's just the age range?
5 through 15.
5 through 15. So you are in the thick of it. So you have a kindergartner and a high schooler and all the in the middle of that.
Yes.
That's amazing. Okay, so tell me what a typical day in your life looks like.
Typical day, alarm goes off. It's from my husband, but we both have to get up because he also works from home and he gets the bedroom office. So I have to get kicked out of the room because I'm not going to be sleeping anymore with the light on. So I move out to the living room and I use the family computer to work on the business for a couple of hours before my kids wake up
Okay,
because
that's great.
we've set up a routine that they can socialize with each other because most of them share rooms, play games. Like they do are not required to hit chores and schoolwork as soon as they wake up. They can have that slow morning with enjoyable activities to
Mm.
start. So I can get in a solid 90 minutes, 2 hours, which helps me feel like I was really productive on the most important business tasks before the kid day has even started.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then you devote your next time block to your kids and to their homeschooling
Homeschooling,
activities.
yes.
Yeah. And how long does that typically take you?
That is through lunch, and then I kept nap time. So nobody naps anymore, but I've kept it and we call it quiet time. Everyone can go have space from each other. We're a house full of introverts. You're not required to share your toys. You may go split up into different rooms of the house.
I love that.
And that also means I have quiet time to work on the business again.
That's great. And is that like what, an hour, hour and a
No,
half?
3 hours.
Oh, 3 hours. That's a huge block.
Yes.
That's amazing. So, so far in your day, you already have blocked out 4.5-ish hours to work on your business, in
Yes.
addition to getting your kids all of the attention and homeschool stuff done.
Yes. That lets everything fit in.
That's amazing. So, questions that just pop into my mind as I'm going through, if I put myself into the flow of your day, and so you've got early morning. I'm assuming it's probably super early morning, like 6 to
Like 6:30
7:30.
to 8:30.
Okay, 6:30 to 8:30. And then your block is after lunch, so 1 to 4, 12 to 3
One to
ish.
four, yes.
1 to 4. Okay. So are you able, like the clients that come to you for help with their own time blocking and organizational things, are you able to fit them into those two time blocks, or do you ever find yourself having to add something that's ancillary to the way that you typically would run your day?
Well, nobody else wants to be around at 6:30 in the morning. Hey, I don't want to be on calls at 6:30 in the morning because the point is I want my kids to sleep and be quiet as long as possible.
Sure.
So I've set up my business with only afternoon calls
Okay.
and a heavy amount of daily support. So,
Mm,
think Voxer or Basecamp or email, that kind of a thing. We are
okay.
not primarily doing coaching sessions like
Okay.
popcorn during the week.
Okay. Okay. So when do coaching sessions happen?
Coaching sessions can happen anytime in those afternoons,
Okay.
but it is not 5 days a week. Certain
Okay.
days in the afternoons, like Friday, it's like, well, if
Hmm.
this is grocery day, what if I'm talking to my own mother? I might put in a little bit of business work Saturday morning if all the kids are off grocery shopping with their dad. But beyond that, I don't have to work a full 5 days. I can do 4.5 days if I want to.
The beauty of owning your own business. Hallelujah.
Yes.
So tell me, what does your business encompass?
Anything a mom needs for help prioritizing her to-do list, whether that's personal or business, if she is getting burnt out. So we need to focus on time for your devotions, time for your workouts, time
Mm,
for your hobbies. The margin time you mentioned at the beginning of our interview, if she's kind of thick in the littles phase and they take forever to get
right.
anything done, Maybe there's business tasks that she would like to get to, but she hasn't been able to create the course yet. She doesn't have time with the clients she's currently serving. All right.
Hmm.
Let's lay out the goals. Let's prioritize. And a lot of it has to do with getting rid of the shoulds and the self-expectations. When the business
Mm.
mom comes to me and says, I feel like I have this, this, and this, and this, and this. Everything is important. I can't cut anything. Like, well, who said they are all important? Is that actually you? Or are you feeling some outside pressure that I should be doing this and I want to do this? And now the conflict is making you feel like they're both equally important.
Wow. That I think if you are listening, wind it back, like press tap back like 3 times and listen to that again, because that was super important. How many things that you're doing, do you feel pressure, outside pressure, that make you feel you should be doing them? But in reality, it's probably something or possibly something that is not necessary for you to do, or not necessary for you to do in the way and in the timing that you're currently doing it. Am I getting that right?
Yes.
That is fantastic. So how do you find these clients that you work with?
Well, I host my own podcast, which I will
Mhm.
be inviting you on. And anyone who needs help sometimes finds me from there. I'm
Okay.
also part of business memberships just to grow and up level myself, which means I can share my work-life balance services since a lot of moms are doing wellness or they're doing business coaching or they're
Mhm.
doing a product. So I'm not really overlapping,
Yeah.
or rather, I'm not competing with them, but they're natural fields of opportunity.
Yeah.
And of course, I have my own email list and website and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. I will tell you that I have not, and I've been in business in this sphere since 2013, but I've not run across anybody who does what you do. I'm sure there are others, but they're not, I'll just say that it's not a saturated market like some of the other things that you might run up against.
Business coaching or something.
Yes, I feel like this is a niche that you're able to provide something that's very unique and yet very needed. When we connected in the podcast group and I saw what you do, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to have her on my podcast because what you do, I think, is so unusual. So tell me, who are your favorite people to work with? Like, who is your ideal client? What would you be helping them do?
My ideal client is anyone who's feeling very go-getter about
Mhm.
her personal family and business goals. So she's looking for options because she knows she doesn't like the way it is right now. It
Oh, that's
doesn't matter if you are a startup person. You're like, I want the hours in the day that will let me balance and I don't have to hustle ever. Or if you're successfully running an agency, you've got 15 people working for you, you're still dealing with work-life balance issues. So as long as you're willing to make changes and hear advice and be like, yeah, that might work, let me give it a try, or question those expectations,
hmm
you're coachable and I would love to work with you.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I know that one of the things that you really love to do is help business owners, moms declutter their calendar. So what does that process look like?
First, we're going to go through what are the actual essentials. And I don't mean your, oh, but these are essentials for the family. I mean, no, 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 truly. Is this essential on the level of we are going to church? I'm having the date night with my husband. I have these client meetings. Essential does not mean the groups you're going to, the sports games, the practices, even your grocery runs,
Hmm.
because there are alternate methods of getting groceries to your house.
These days,
So,
yes, there are.
yes. First, we want to try to tier the calendar in this, not
Mm.
just what you are used to, but really shake it up, press the reset button, and say, what if I quit about absolutely everything that is optional? And then everything that you say, oh, no, no, that's not optional, we say, why? Are you sure? And try to get your bare bones stripped down schedule.
Oh, that's good.
Kind of like, think like in COVID when everybody was quitting everything.
Right, yeah.
Like, that's kind of your bare bones schedule. Now go add back however you're going to get your groceries and church and things like that.
Hmm.
But think of everything else as optional add-ons. And then I want you to look at your capacity.
Hmm.
How many nights or mornings or whatever out a week are you taking on these calendar things? Also your virtual meetings. so both virtual and out of the house. What do you actually feel like you can handle well during the day? Not how much you can handle, but what gives you the room, the margin, the space? You're not yelling at your kids. You're
Right.
not constantly on the phone, so to speak, to God saying, help, I have no energy because you
Yeah.
let yourself get too busy. That kind of reboot is what I mean when I say declutter your calendar.
Yeah, I love that. I think that so many times we get in that, we get in our own little rhythm of doing all the things, and we don't realize that we've piled so much on that really can get stripped back. And I think asking that question, what is essential? Or I think another way that I would term it, just because it's my personality type, is what's non-negotiable. We will have a date night. We will go to church, those types of things, and loading those first. I think that's so important. So, so, so important. I talked to somebody the other day and she was saying that she even goes as far as to color code her calendar. Do you do that?
I do, yes, because I
Yeah.
want to make sure I am seeing work calls, family calls. I have to see both parts of my life because I cannot remember everything. I would like to, but
5 kids,
I will
you know.
forget.
Yes. This particular conversation that I was having, she said that she uses time blocking very well, is what my understanding was, that I was getting that vibe that she'd been in that rhythm for a long time of using time blocking, but she was coming to a place in her work. It was a launch season for her. And she realized, because of the color coding, that her husband's color was not on the calendar. And so she had to take a step back, and it was very it was like an aha moment. Oh, I have not blocked time for him. And so I think that that happens probably more than we would all like to think that it does. Is super important things get left off because we're not taking a look at the whole. We're literally just going through life without a plan.
100% agree.
Hasn't this episode been amazing so far? I'm going to let you get right back to it, I promise. But this is the time in the show that I get to remind you about our focus organization for the month. And in October, we're focusing on Bell and Sparrows. It is an amazing organization that serves women that are coming from a hard place and helping them get back on their feet. And y'all, I know that we can do some good in banding together with this organization to help even more women. There are so many ways that you can do that. You can find it all on their website, which is linked in the show notes. And if you are a auditory person, it's Bell and Sparrows, BELLEANDSPARROWS.org. And there are lots of different ways that you can get involved. They just take donations, which is fantastic. If you are more of a hands-on person, they are doing mission trips that you can go on and join them in the actual ministry that they're doing. And then one of my favorite things to do is shop. I love to shop, and they have the most amazing candles. Their fall scents are amazing, and you're going to want one for your home. And why don't we make a pact right now? Let's get our Christmas shopping done in October. You get everybody a Bell and Sparrows candle. They are happy with their gift. Bell and Sparrows gets to help more women. And then something that I'm doing right now for my own business. So business owners, listen up. They can white label their candles with your logo. And I'm actually using them for client gifts. And they're beautiful, you guys. So again, go to bellandsparrows.org. You'll find the link in the show notes and find out how you can get involved and support this amazing organization. Now, back to the show. So tell me what if this mom came to you and she's in launch season. So our businesses ebb and flow, right? Just kind of like life ebbs and flows. When you have super little kids, your life looks busy but different than when you have kids like your age kids that are literally have multiple activities as well as school and all that. It's busy in a different way. And then in my stage of life where kids have launched, but I have grandkids and, running a business and working full time as well, my life looks busy. But it's different. And so in business, you may be in a launch season. Well, the launch season has a start and an end. And so tell me what it would look like if a client came to you and you were navigating a particularly busy season, like a launch season. How do things change when you're coaching somebody that's in that season versus in a more normal rhythm?
Most business moms understand how to hire more help during the
Mm.
launch for the business, or
Well,
tell
that's
the
good.
VA, I need more hours for you. That's great. Keep doing that. And you need to take some off the housekeeping side of your plate.
Oh,
So
I'm
we
down
need
for
to,
that.
yes, we need to streamline your meals. Again, your launch, it's what, 1 week, 2 weeks, something like that. I don't care if you're Instapotting everything every night, take it every night, making the kids cook every night. You need to take some of that off your plate. Again, have the kids
Mhm.
help you clean the house or housekeeper or whatever. And if you've communicated to your family up front, it's not a case of, oh, mom never cooks nice meals again. It's no, no, no. These 10 days, she said she's extra busy at work. These 10 days, we are rummaging through the fridge for leftovers and eating freezer meals. It's okay.
Mhm.
That way, you can keep to your normal amount of work plus household work hours, and then your lunch doesn't feel stressful.
That's really good. I love that. I really love that. So you talk about work-life balance. Do you feel like, because I have heard work-life, like literally heard the phrase work-life balance is a myth. What do you do to overcome that objection when people come to you? Because I'm sure you've heard that before.
I'd say it depends what your goals and priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
Are you wanting to work more in your business and you feel like you've got a bunch of little kids around that don't let you? Are
Mm-hmm.
you wanting to work less because you've got a full-time job, you have too many household responsibilities on top of that, and you've got the kids you want to be present for? Like, when you're saying it's a myth, I'm saying, what is your definition of balance? Like, where are you feeling shorted? Where are you feeling resentful?
Mm.
That's what we need to fix for you.
Oh, that's good. Where are you feeling resentful? That's a powerful statement right there. I don't think we probably ask ourselves that question enough to use it to get to pull out those things that it's maybe time to hire somebody else in your business or time to hire somebody to help with housekeeping chores. That's really good. I had honestly, I don't think I've ever asked myself that question, and I probably need to. So, talk to me about time management strategies that you have that you specifically utilize in your family and your business that you feel like are non-negotiables. I know we've talked about how you structure your day, but are there other time management things that you use, tips and tricks that you can give to people that they can kind of grab onto and maybe utilize what feels good?
In addition to the time blocks, I find it's crucial to have a pre-planned to-do list. So when I'm sitting down for those 4.5 hours of work, I have to know exactly what I'm doing, preferably approximately how long it will take, but for sure, I know I am working as far as I can on those particular items.
Mhm.
There is no, oh, let's check the news. Oh, let's check social media. It is a straight up, those can go during your time with the kids, or you can say that's not being present, I'm not doing it then. This is work time. If you have work time and kid time and leisure time, those activities are leisure. Essentially, you're distracting yourself. So if I want to do that, I have to do that at different time.
Mm.
That's how I make the focused progress on the to-do list of whatever the business needs. I mean, it's easy if you're on a client call, you literally cannot be doing anything but
Mhm.
sitting there coaching that person. But what about the back end work, whatever admin work you are taking on that's not been delegated? What
Right.
about if you're doing content for your business, brainstorming and planning? How often has brainstorming turned into daydream? Oops, then I went down the scroll hole.
Right. Yeah. Pinterest, 5 hours later.
Yes, yes.
Yes. So when you're talking about a pre-planned to-do list, when do you plan that? Do you do it the night before so that the minute you wake up, you know exactly what you're doing? Or is your day to-do list something that you have blocked in the morning?
I do it a week at a time.
Wait, what? Okay, talk to me about that.
I started that for my personal life because I hate meal planning at 5 p.m. every night. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, if I could just do it all 7 meals 1 week at a time, I'd only have to do it once. This sounds
Yeah.
better. So it became very logical to then say, oh, but if I know what my weekly schedule is, I can put in what all the kids' practices are and who has a test when, and a reminder to grade the test and enter it in the homeschool records. Okay, sure. And then I added the business, and they're like, okay, well, then we just add in the planning day, plan menus, plan personal to-do list, plan business to-do list.
That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And so do you set aside time, like, is that a Monday activity that I mean, do you typically spend time on Monday planning for the next 5 days, or do you spend Monday planning for the next week, or what does that look like?
I plan more like Friday, Saturday, end of the week,
Okay.
especially if I'm kind of tapering out of work mode, then it's something that's productive that doesn't actually
Mm,
take heaps of brain power because I want to hit Monday morning ready to go
yeah.
and get as much work as possible done front load the week.
Yeah, I love that. That is such a good tip. Man, you guys take note. And if you decide to implement this, I want to know how it's going because I think I need to do that. I would say I'm not the most disciplined person in that way. Like I time block, but I don't plan my time block ahead of time. I usually am doing it, okay, in this time block, this is what I need to get done. So that's something that's very challenging for me, but it's a challenge that I probably need to take on because I can see how that would be incredibly beneficial to really move the ball forward as you're looking to bigger business goals. So how do you, knowing that you're so planned and you're so strategic about what goes on your to-do list, how do you handle things that just pop up?
Sure, I'll get in a different mood or depending on my cycle, it's like, I'm out of energy. That's when I go look at the to-do list because I will have things laid out week by week
Mhm.
for the overflow. And I can say, oh, what about that task? This feels like a better aligns with my energy now. Cut and paste, swap it out, put the other one back, and I haven't overloaded either week. They're both
Mm.
priority tasks. I just moved the deadline on each of them. Obviously, that only works for certain things. You're not doing that with your client calls or like team meetings, but there's a lot of stuff that really doesn't matter too much in the grand scheme of things if you did this one 10 days sooner than that.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really, really good. I love that. And so I'm assuming that the same way that you have non-negotiables on your personal calendar, that you would kind of hierarchically put business things into the calendar. Like these are the non-negotiables for business. And
Yes.
then you kind of layer them in order of importance.
Yes. The other way I handle it is I'm always working 3 to 6 months ahead
Wow.
so that there's no pressure on which project I'm doing that day for the business. Like everything that has to go out this week is done and dealt with. Everything next week is done and dealt with. If I had to literally not turn on the internet apart from dealing with clients, it would be okay if the whole family got sick. So that gives me the mental margin to feel like everything is extra, quote unquote, and the extra bank is always full.
Mm. That is shocking and amazing and awesome. And I feel like there's a lot of people listening that are in my shoes saying, that is fantastic, but that in my mind is utopia. Like it's unachievable for me. So what do you tell the person who's sitting there going, that all sounds great, but I don't think I can do that?
Well, some things you probably can't do, but like give me a short list, 5 separate things in your business.
I have to do content creation. Because I work in branding and web design, I'm constantly doing things for whatever stage of work a particular client's project is in. And so that has to be lined out. And then I am doing bookkeeping, obviously. And let's see. I fit in a podcast. And then part of my business is podcast editing. And so depending on when the clients get us their assets, we would be doing editing. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that I do are dependent on when a client gets me what I need before I can start work. And
Yes,
so there's a limit to the amount of planning and processing that I can do. In an ideal world, I'm always working weeks in advance, but that's just not reality all the time.
agreed. So what I'm doing is I am only working 3 to 6 months ahead in the not waiting for other people parts of projects. So that
Oh,
means
okay.
your podcast and your content.
Yeah.
And if you have part of your day or part of your week on those personal business projects that you're ahead on, it helps you feel like not everything is in reactive mode. Yes, I'm going to get to the branding stuff that the client said, oh, never mind, I changed my mind on the colors. That's this afternoon, but I know that I have all my podcast episodes through December out already. That's great. Now I can have fun brainstorming for January. So you're playing with both and.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that responding to clients is bad. I mean, sure, maybe you can bump out some of their deadlines and start saying, you must get it to me by X date
Yeah.
to give yourself a little breathing room.
Uh-huh.
But we're not saying everything in your business has to be 3 to 6 months ahead because that's not realistic as a service
Right.
provider.
Yeah.
But content, the socials, all that stuff, that's where I like to build in the margin.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's really good. Really, really, really good. So I know that one of the things that you really like to talk to your clients about is taking breaks so that it really is able to, you call it turbocharging. So talk to me a little bit about what that looks like.
You probably know the feeling when your brain is just kind of dead tired with this current
Yeah.
project.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I run through my little list. Do I need a snack? Would I like to have a hot drink? Do I feel like I need to listen to a meditation or go pray and try to de-stress my thoughts? Do
Mm.
I need to go for a walk? Do I need a longer period, like I need to sit down to read for a book? Like what level would fix this? Is it just getting up and doing 50 jumping jacks? Or is it full on, I need a 40-minute lunch break and scroll on
Yeah.
my phone without guilt? Like what are we going for here? You never push through, you always take the break. I mean, unless it's something like literally the washing machine broke and I must now drive everything, somewhere
Right.
else and get it cleaned. Or not that.
Yeah. I think that so many times we can fall into the feeling guilty for having to take a break, but I totally agree that I am so much more productive if I give my brain the space that it needs when it starts to feel overloaded, because if I try to push through, it becomes gibberish and I'm definitely not doing my best work.
Yes.
Yeah. And the same, I think, with your family, right? If you're not taking the time out, like I'm a huge fan of mommy timeouts. I think that's what you're keeping nap time even for your older kids, right? But it's quiet time. I think that allows you to take a step back and refresh so that when you come back together as a family, you're giving them 100% of your best, not your leftovers. And I think that's super important. I love that.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So if there's one thing that you would say to people that are listening that would be your top tip, what would that be?
That you can change anything. So if you're sitting here grumping about your life or the clients in your business or your workload or your lack of help around the house, we need to flip the switch to empowerment. I
Mm,
have agency. God has delegated authority to me. What can I change about the situation? Goes outside of the boxes you like, but start looking for ways to make it look more like your ideal, because God doesn't want you stressed out and frazzled either. Instead of just saying, oh, woe is me, my life is frazzled, I am a victim of that circumstance. Start
mm.
actively trying to change it.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so good. So good. Actively trying to change it. I'm going to segue a little bit to Faith. The podcast is Her Faith at Work. And I know Faith is very integral into who you are and how you've built your business and how you work. So tell me how the two intersect for you.
It's the original germ, even for having a business, is the belief that God put me here to impact people with a particular set of giftings. So, how am I stewarding that? I'm using my time management and work life balance skills to better my own life, which helps my kids and my husband. But you could almost call that selfish. Like, I
Mm,
improved everything for myself, but am I spreading that to other people? Am
mm,
I defrazzling other business moms? If I just sit on my happy life of I have 5 kids and I don't feel like I'm crazy busy, how does it benefit anybody else?
mm.
What am I called to be doing with that?
That's really good. How did you know that the gifts that the Lord equipped you with in this area were supposed to be a business?
I didn't for a long time. I wanted some sort of impact. I had no clue until I had had my 5th baby and I heard someone talk about online business. And I was like, what in the world is this? So I
Huh.
kept listening because it was a podcast. And I'm like, oh, this could be a vehicle for that impact.
Yeah.
This lets me change other women's lives now and not wait till I'm an empty nester. I think maybe I need to take a step of faith here and go for this.
That's fantastic. And so you did.
Yep, youngest was 7 months old.
Wow, that's amazing. So, you have something special for my listeners. It's a schedule audit. Tell me what that is, because I think I might need that.
Yes, I'm going to audit your schedule for you. So basically, we're going to look through how many hours you're typically working on your business. Is that the number of hours you even want to be working? And no judgment if that's up or down. What else you've got going on in your life? Do you have special needs kids? Do you have long commutes for their school drop-offs? Like, what else is going on that
Mhm.
forms your mom life non-negotiables? And then we're going to look at what is your top pressing priority? Like, what's the thing you just can't stand and you really, really want to fix this month? This week would be even better. Today would be the magic wand amazing. And I'm going to tell you what would actually fix that one thing for you.
That is fantastic. So you have a special link for that, and we will put that in the show notes so you guys can go and grab that. How do people connect with you? What's the best way for them to find you, Alyssa?
You can find me at the Unbusy Mom podcast or go to the website yourunbusylife.com.
What a great name, Your Unbusy Life. That I think, doesn't everyone want that? Your unbusy life. That sounds so refreshing. So it'll be easy for people to remember, yourunbusylife.com. So you guys go and find Alyssa, grab that free schedule audit, because that seems invaluable to people who are trying to get their businesses and their lives in sync, so that they can move the ball forward to the next thing and to reach those goals that God's put on your heart. Alyssa, thank you so much for your time. I am in awe of the way that God has gifted you and how you share that in the world, and how you mom and wife alongside of that. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing all of that with us.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Jan. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for joining me for another episode of Her Faith at Work. If the Lord put someone on your heart that you think needs to hear this message today, will you just smash that share button? And if you haven't already followed the show, I would love for you to do that. Super extra points if you hop over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. That helps the algorithm pick us up and drop us right in the AirPods of people that need to hear what the Lord is saying to them today. I hope you'll come back for the next episode of Her Faith at Work. The podcast comes out every Wednesday. And if you look down in the show notes, I've even got a couple of free downloads for you that I think you will really enjoy. With that, have a great week. See you next time.